Hi there, my name is Nicholas Lickfeld and I'm a member of Group G, The Kids Next Door. This is our presentation and project of Apple for Best in Retailing. Our other group members are Josh Thorpe, Sam Kushmeyer, and Haley Lester. I hope you enjoy. To start off, we're going to cover our topics of discussion for today, starting with Apple's background, just to make sure we're all on the same page, we all have the same information, and we're all talking about the same company. Next off, we're going to switch into the SWOT analysis for Apple, which is of course their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, leading into Apple's key issues, alternative courses of action that Apple might take, and our group's recommendations for Apple. What is Apple? Well, let me tell you, Apple is a computer company that was originally founded by Steve Wozniak, Steve Jobs, and Ronald Payne. Apple was one of the first companies to mass produce microcomputers, and Apple is still known today for their innovation. Apple is the highest grossing technology company of all time, and Apple is also arguably the most well known and they have the widest offering of products and services to accommodate for any need. A lot of Apple's different product offerings include iPhone, iMac, iPod, iPad, Apple Watch, their AirPods, HomePod, and this leads into some of Apple's different services they offer, which include Apple TV, Apple Music, Apple Pay, and these are just the tip of the iceberg because they have so much more to offer. Apple's mission is to cater to people by bringing the best user experience to customers through innovative hardware, software, and their services, and they offer plenty of them. You can really tell through Apple's hardware and software and the different products they produce that they spend a lot of time perfecting them to give the best user experience. Apple's vision is to make the best products on earth and to leave the world better than we found it. And you can see Apple really does care about the earth, and they really do care about the impact that they're going to have on the future and the present day environment. Now you can see I've just brought together several pictures of different Apple products. Some of the ones I mentioned are included, and unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably seen some of these before. I'll let you see if you can pick out which is which. There's an Apple Watch up here, an Apple TV device, and one of Apple's laptops, some of their AirPods, an iPhone, and an iPad. What differentiates Apple from competitors, you might ask? Well, there are plenty of different things. Apple's very strong in the market, and one of the things that helps to contribute to this strength is their operating system and their ability to share from different devices. Their operating system is known as iOS for their mobile devices and Mac OS for their laptops. Their product design is very well known for its simplicity and the high quality materials that they use, as well as their very well-known designs. If you see an Apple product, odds are you know what you're looking at. And they've done a very good job integrating all of these different factors to help support the products that they're so famous for producing. Apple's services are seemingly endless. They're creating more and more services by the day, which include Apple Music, Apple TV, Apple Pay. You can pay in different restaurants or shopping with your credit card or any other time you might need to use money. They've got that covered. And then Apple, they have an option where you can read books as well. It's seeming like if you need to do anything or accomplish anything in the world, Apple's got a service for that. One final attribute that Apple is very strong in and that they offer is their ecosystem. Apple's ecosystem can be most easily explained as the ability to cross-play or share information from one device to another very easily. And they do this arguably better than any other company. They make it very easy to share your photographs or your videos or any other information you might have on, say, an iPhone or a laptop or a computer. You can switch that from each Apple product very easily, and it's quite seamless. Apple's target customers encompass a very wide target market. They do their best to appeal to many different walks of life, but if we have to get a little more specific, Apple has some pretty high cost products, so we can consider these premium costs. And these might speak to a higher or more middle income consumer, because the lower earning consumers might not be able to afford some of the options that Apple offers. Apple also offers an innovative design and technology. Younger middle-aged customers will really appreciate and understand this new technology, and those who look to join in on different trends and the improvement of different technology, that's probably going to be your younger or middle-aged customers, and that would probably be their target market for that. Apple also involves in very progressive marketing. They do this by including all genders, shapes, colors, and sizes of people in their different marketing and advertising options, and you can really see that they are trying to speak to as many people as they can and bring as many people as they can over to the side of Apple. The technological environment is very fast moving and quickly growing. The technological environment is arguably the fastest moving growth market since the invention and acceptance of mobile devices. Ever since mobile devices came along, technology and AI have just continuously been growing at such a rapid pace, something we've never quite seen in the past. This type of environment can be very dangerous or risky, because if a company isn't focused on looking forward and looking toward the future, then they can get left in the dust as other companies are focusing on a lot of this market forecasting and research and development. If a technology company isn't looking toward the future, then this environment's moving so quickly that they will be quickly forgotten. Some of Apple's strengths include their identity or recognition, their ecosystem, how innovative of a company they are, and how favorable their products are. People love Apple products. People who use Apple products, odds are they're not going to switch, because as I spoke about a little bit earlier, they've created such a strong ecosystem where all of their devices connect so seamlessly and all of their information is able to be pulled up at the flick of a finger on a touch screen. Also, if you're looking at an Apple product, as I said earlier, you know what you're looking at, and everybody on the earth just about knows about the company Apple just from their iconic brand. Some weaknesses of Apple are the fact that their products are very expensive. And one of the things that is dangerous about this very strong ecosystem that they've created is it's very difficult to cross over to other companies for sell devices or other technology, because you might have to lose a lot of the information that you've collected on Apple's operating systems. If you want to switch to, say, a Samsung device, it's very difficult to share all of that information back and forth if you are considering switch. And Apple is also getting very thinly spread. They're spreading themselves very thin across many different markets, as I talked about earlier. The Apple TV and all of their different technology offerings, and Apple Pay, they are really focusing on a lot all at once, and that means that they can't do any specific thing better than everybody else. So this can be a weakness and almost a threat as well. Some of Apple's opportunities are that technology markets are growing extremely quickly, and they're moving at a fast pace, and it doesn't look like they're slowing down anytime soon. It's just going to continue to speed up, and we're going to see more and more technology advancements in the next decade, 2 decades, and into the further future. Wearable tech is a very quickly growing market where people are purchasing more such as Apple Watches or different smart watches. The closer you can have your smart device to you, the better these days, it's seeming. Green tech is also an opportunity that Apple can delve into, where companies are starting to focus into better products for the environment and a better future for our environment. AI development is continually advancing, and the more and more advanced that AI gets, the more quickly that it grows and learns. Also, self-driving vehicles are a very large growing market that Apple could delve into, because as you see, different companies like Tesla and seemingly all of the other automakers are all trying to focus on creating their own self-driving vehicle or electric vehicle. So this is somewhere that Apple could focus some of their efforts on. And lastly, we look into the threats that Apple might face. The pandemic market after effects are continually draining Apple and all companies in the economic world, to be honest, because as you can see, the pandemic began in China, and there are a lot of supply chains that Apple depends on that come through China, and they're still seeing negative effects from that and slowed supply chains. So that is a threat to their overall market security and long-term market development. AirTags are another offering that Apple provides, and they are having difficulty with the security on these, where people are breaching into that device and being able to track people, which is no good at all. Other large tech companies are also threatening to Apple because, as I said, with the research and development and how quickly the market is growing and changing and developing and advancing, it is difficult to keep up with the times. So Apple is always threatened by other large tech companies.
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm just stopping by to say hi and introduce Josh for our key issues.
Our first key issue is the fact that there is no physical Apple Store location in Colombia. Simply Mac was a decent option, but it's shut down. So Tiger Tech is the main salesman and repairman of Apple products here. There's obviously a market for it. On a college campus, where most likely an overwhelming number of people have at least one Apple product. And more valuable than the potential income they get, they continue to develop their in-store experience and keep their in-person retailing relevant. Moving on to our second key issue, being the use of different operating systems while using Apple products. More specifically with our first point, a large majority of people prefer to use Windows operating systems for desktop use. Apple could spend money on licensing and find a way to work with the other systems, but they do not allow you to use any other systems besides iOS, and there are many aspects that are locked away on Apple devices. This leads people to jailbreaking devices. Since people cannot get the customization they would like and have seen with Android and Apple devices, they are hacking them in order to open up opportunities for unauthorized apps and more control over the device. On the other hand, if your device loses a lot of its power and becomes more susceptible to being hacked. Now for our alternative courses, starting with Apple just staying the course. Apple doesn't have to change anything, and they will still be the leader in their brand. They wouldn't have to worry about licensing and then changing up their platform, but they would still be risking the possibility of people jailbreaking their devices and exposing themselves to hackers. At the same time, Apple would have a chance to focus on the development of their own program, macOS Ventura. Our second alternative course is bringing an Apple Store into Columbia, Missouri. With Simply Mac closing, Tiger Tech is the top seller and repairer of Apple products in Colombia. They do not have specialization in Apple products, they only carry them. Having an Apple Store would provide the city with specialized help and knowledge on Apple products, and a place that they know will be carrying the product that they're looking for. This would also benefit the influence that their in-store experience holds and would benefit their reputation. And finally, the last alternative course is making the Apple devices essentially unhackable. Apple ensuring their products are unable to be jailbroken or tampered with puts them in a position to fully stay the current course with a focus on security. But if they paid for licensing agreements with the programs that these hackers are interested in, they would be less attractive to the hackers, and their products would benefit by becoming stronger and more creative for their consumers.
So now we're going to be going into course evaluation. So evaluation 1 is staying the course. So the advantages of staying the course, the advantages is it should increase its success since their success rate has been great so far. And the disadvantages is no growth in selling Macs considering Windows is predominantly way more popular. Evaluation 2 is Apple Store to Columbia. And the advantages of that is it's more safe and convenient for residents in Columbia, and it makes it harder to hack others with the available support on hand. And the disadvantages is it could be costly to build a store and just to run it in a city like Columbia. And then number 3 is make it so it is physically impossible for people to jailbreak their devices. And the advantage of this is it obviously protects citizens of Columbia if we get this. The disadvantages could be cost of building and research. It could take a while, and also time to perfect it into an Apple product.
Hi, I'm back for our recommended course of action. Our recommendation is to integrate the programs that are currently unavailable on Mac. Essentially, there are a lot of games, programs, softwares that are no longer or were never offered on Mac OS due to the fact that, the way I like to put it, Mac likes just a clean brushstroke. They can see where the cracks are, and pretty much any other operating software is kind of like throwing a ball of spaghetti at the wall, and it just looks magnificent. It's art. It's beautiful. But the problem is, if you try to do that with Mac and a single piece of parsley is out of the way and in the wrong spot, it has a conniption. It does not like it. It will throw a hissy fit, all of the above. So integrating the programs and the ability to be able to use those programs on Mac would open up a whole new world for programmers, software developers, even game designers, because being able to work through errors has been one of the best things that Windows has ever done, and Mac would benefit so much from doing that. So with that, basically a bunch of new programs would be able to be developed. Woo, references!